Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your April reading. So first let's talk about the astrology a little bit. There are some major things happening and then we move on to the tarot. So first we have an eclipse on the 20th of the month, and that is taking place in Aries at the very last degree, which means there is a cusp energy to it, which means there is a sense of transition, or like something's about to come just around the corner type of vibe going on. For you, if we go by Virgo being your rising sign, then that would be in the 8th house of shared resources, partnerships, vulnerabilities, and intimacies. And it can also talk about the shadow side of you as well. So as soon as the eclipse happens, like 8 minutes later, it moves on into Taurus. The moon, and also the sun follows a little bit later, and we have the first the new zodiac season, the first day of a new zodiac season on the same day of the eclipse. So like major day already. We have Taurus season beginning, which would be your 9th house of, long range future plans, or like diverse groups of people you connect with, some higher education, even higher authorities in some cases. Also, if you're a teacher, then, this could be talking about your career in that sense. We'll see the cards and get some more details on that, of what it means for you. But all in all, because it's in an earth sign, the sun moving into the earth sign, so is the moon. So that is going to have an overall beneficial aspect to you. So regardless of what shadows that come up from underneath the surface, or some things that you might need to sort out through the eclipse, you still have some sort of help or support coming through. You might have the necessary knowledge or resources as well. 9th house can sometimes talk about like higher contacts you have, who have more expertise, and they might be helping you out too. We'll see the cards again. Now, another major thing is Mercury is going retrograde in Taurus for the first time in this year. And Mercury moves into Taurus on the 3rd. So from the 3rd till the 21st, it's direct, and then on the 21st, it goes retrograde. When it is retro, we don't buy very expensive things. We don't make like huge commitments, which we must stick to, because there are some changes that happen around this time. And also when Mercury goes direct again, then we might feel very differently about the promises and purchases we might have made. So revising things, researching things, reconnecting with old connections, trying out some, abandoned projects and trying to see if that can move ahead. Editing, things like that are really good for this period there. But from like the 3rd till, let's say, the 15th, it is still okay to go ahead with your promises, make certain commitments and things like that. Okay, now on the 6th, we have a full moon, with the moon being in Libra and the sun being in Aries. The same day, the Mercury, planet of the mind and intellect, logic and reasoning, is going to be conjoining North Node, which brings in some sort of purpose into our lives, and the commitments we make, we're more likely to stick to them around this time. But there will be certain things that come into either culmination or illumination around this time, where you're like shifting priorities in some way. Okay, so Libra is obviously your 2nd house of finances. Once again, I'm going by the rising, but you can still be watching for your sun and the moon. That's not a problem. The effect is still going to lend itself regardless of your placement. So the 2nd house is connected with things that you value. What do you spend on? What do you prioritize on? And also like that is like, of course, talking about the financial part, but also your attention and other resources that you would be spending. So there is some type of clarity that comes in. Perhaps there was something that was hidden away from you. You didn't know that you are supposed to pay for something because it was not explicitly mentioned, or it was like in the fine print and you didn't take note of that, or it was just not brought to your attention by an external party. So that might come to your notice and you're like, what? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to figure this out and kind of see how we're gonna deal with this. Now, like I said, Aries being in the 8th house and the sun being there around this time, we can get more like answers and clarity from places where we get loans and we've had our investments, our savings, or like if you share resources with someone, like your house, for example, if you pay a common rent, you're sharing your house and so on. And then, there is like a meeting point, or you're discussing certain things here to recalibrate your priorities. All right. Okay, then on the 11th, we have Venus moving into Gemini, which is a fellow mutable sign, and you will be feeling this. And also, it's another zodiac which is ruled by Mercury along with you. So, this is talking about you feeling more attracted to intellectual people or more logical discussions. There can be some more benefits that come through from having, logical conversations and just getting to know something, not really about. I'm not feeling so much that, we have to write things down and make everything official, but it's like, let's talk about this, let's figure this out, let's see what would be the best way to go. Oh, okay, so I did not know about this thing, so maybe we can figure out something else over here, something of that sort. Now, Gemini is in your 10th house of career and ambitions, goals as well, so you might begin getting some positive affirmations or news from someone here that is very supportive, or there is some sort of blessing that comes in that helps you move ahead with your future plans here. So regardless of what certain hiccups are, I do feel a little bit of a hiccup there. Once again, we'll see some of these cards and kind of clarify, but either way, you still have a lot of blessings and support coming through. So ultimately, I don't think anything is like a big issue. But okay, let's see your cards now. Let's see if what I'm feeling is on point or there's like a lot more to the story. Okay, we have the third quarter moon with harvest coming through. That's the major theme of the month. Yeah, this is where we kind of see the results of some efforts that we've already done. We're harvesting the results, the crops, things like that, right? Okay, so the first major highlight we have here is mountain, which says major challenge to overcome. Okay, I'm not really feeling so much major, but okay, let's see. Wow, okay, with mountain road, you're on the road to success. Okay, so that's nice. We have mountain and the mountain road. So it's not uncharted territory. It has been figured out before, and there are people who have done this. So you can definitely collaborate with someone, or you can read some online articles, things like that, and kind of figure things out over here. But either way, you have a path. You can do it. It might be major in the sense that you might have not done this before, or it's something that you have planned for your big goals, so it feels like a big milestone. But if I look at it objectively, to me it's not seeming very big. But of course, like if you're very dedicated to something, then it obviously has a higher status in your personal mind. But yes, both of these cards indicate that you are finding success in some way. Then we have staff, which says you will be taken care of in difficult times. Yes, you absolutely have support. I'm feeling more in a connection sense, but again, we'll see. Some professional and expert connections that can help you out with this month, basically. Okay, let's get some more cards, get some more context. We have sweet thoughts with Pansy. And we have blissful pleasure. Okay, so like I said, it does not seem to be like the worst thing or anything. It doesn't seem that dramatic at all. It's just something comes up and you deal with it, and you also have support throughout this time. So now you just go with it and have fun, basically. Then we have the devil coming through. Yeah, this is the fine print I'm feeling. So look at the recent contracts you might have signed. Maybe there's something in there. We have the Emperor coming through. By the way, the devil corresponds with Capricorn, and that's associated with mountains and mountain goats. Okay, so regardless of how difficult something might seem, you are able to walk through it because you have a lot of support and resilience as well. The Emperor, okay, this is very specific, but it goes perfectly with the astrology here. Aries being in the shadow self, right? Aries is in the 8th house for you. So there can be some knowledge that you get about yourself, like the way that you think, what ticks you off, why. Well, for example, you might have some qualities that you're not very proud of, but instead of like denying it, it now comes out front. And I don't think that if someone else is pulling it out of you or something, it doesn't feel that forceful, but it just comes to a realization within yourself. You're like, okay, so I do this because of so and so. Now, the devil can talk about someone getting tempted here. So you might feel tempted by something. There can be some overindulgence, things like that. Let's say you're binge eating, okay? And you might be like, ugh, I don't like it when I do this. And then I don't feel very happy about myself. I don't know why I do it. And at first it might be coming out of frustration, that questioning and kind of self-criticism and so on. But the thing with the shadow side is like, no, you need to really ask yourself, why do you do this? And then the Emperor comes in and is like, all right, I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out together, and we're going to come out of it much stronger. Because that same house is also about self-empowerment, okay? Really, it's as if you're taking matters into your own hands, you're figuring it out, and you're asking for support whenever that is relevant. We have this Two of Swords. This can talk about some things. Read the fine print, okay? I'm just gonna say that. If you're signing any new contracts, just read the fine print. I can't say it enough. We have the Six of Pentacles next, and we have the Three of Wands. Very nice. It's ending quite well, like I was saying. So there might be some little bumps along the way, like some confusion of I don't really know why I do this, or I don't really know why I attract such people, or in some cases, this can be talking about a difficult task from your bosses or some leader or authority figure. It can be a mentor too, it can be a father figure as well, who is giving you either a difficult task or is giving you a very strict deadline or asking you to measure up to very high standards, and it might feel very daunting to you. So that can be feeling like a very major challenge because you have not done this before. And when you're trying to figure it out just by yourself, you might be like, okay, this doesn't make sense. I can't figure this out right now. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to do, things like that. But like these two cards come in here, it's like the support then comes in. It's all you have to do is ask and you will receive. Okay, both of these cards talk about that, and it's very, very important for you to keep that in mind throughout this month. Whether this is talking in a professional sense, in your personal life, in a romantic sense, whichever way it is, all you need to do is ask and you will receive. The staff is like, it's as though the help is waiting for you to call on it. It's that kind of vibe. Also, for those of you who are already dealing with some shadow work, this indicates that you're kind of dealing with the last major hurdle, I feel, or like the thing that has been gnawing at you the most. You're deciding to buck up and deal with that. Okay, I keep hearing buck up, as the Emperor is like, let's soldier on, soldier. Okay, let's not give up, let's not shy away from the toughness, because it already exists, so might as well not turn a blind eye to it. Just look at it head on and talk with it. Let's figure this out. And that's kind of one of the best ways, I think, to deal with the shadow self. The more we try to keep running from fears and insecurities, the more they just chase us. And the moment you just stop there, you turn around and you look and you're like, what? Like, what do you want? What is this fear about? Where is it coming from? And then you rationalize it in a way to explain how like that fear is not legitimate right now because something happened in the past doesn't mean it'll happen again, or whatever it is for your specific case. When you have kind of a back and forth, and it might sound weird, I don't know, but like when you face it basically head on, then it doesn't become scary at all. It just, the fear itself becomes a little bit fearful of the fear. So you are not afraid of the fear anymore. You can observe your own fears and just personal flaws and difficulties you have without feeling like judged for it. Okay, the devil usually feels like entrapping because there is a sense of judgment and guilt, or like this is wrong, this is bad, this is good, this is not so good. Things like that, which is ultimately a very relative term, right? If it feels right to you, then I guess it's right for you at that particular moment. And it's like when we are teens, we don't do teen stuff when we are older, and we don't do, 20 stuff when we are like 40s or 50s, something like that, unless like we are feeling that at heart, then that's a different story. But you get what I mean, right? Different phases of you are going to have different inclinations, and there is no point in making yourself very guilty or driving yourself into difficult emotions purposefully, because that's a form of self-sabotage as well. So yes, if you really want to come out of it, and you are going to come out of it much, much, much stronger, that's what the Emperor, all this eclipse energy is talking about here. The help is here. You need to ask for it. That's it. There's a lot more positive thinking going through this whole entrapment thing, quickly transforming into gratitude, and you're noticing just how much blessing you already have, the connections you have in your life, and someone is actually helping you out here. And so I'm hearing faith is restored. So yeah, that might be relevant for some of you. Now the Six of Pentacles can talk about, your finances increasing, or there is like better relationship you have with money, so you're not overspending or being very stingy. There is like a good flow going through. If you have businesses, then you might have felt powerless at some point and you're dealing with certain fear of yours, and now you're stepping up to the plate. You're feeling very confident and vibrant about yourself, and you are all about being value driven. You put a lot of effort into your services, whichever way, like whether it is connections with someone or it is an actual product you are working on, you put your best foot forward. That's just your work ethic, right? So this is indicating you're on top of your fears as well, okay? There's nothing hidden away from you. You notice things, you observe things, and with the Three of Wands, it feels like that zen and that calm vibe. Like the wind, there's a light breeze, there's enough warmth, the water is really smooth and flowing and things like that. There's a sense of hope and vibrance that is coming through as the month progresses. The Devil can talk about, wow. Another thing is that some of you might be afraid of your own personal power. You think that your words can really cut and really hurt because you're very straightforward or very truthful already. You might be very raw in that way. So you might be afraid of what it does to people. And you might be a little bit confused as to how do I put this so that you don't get hurt, especially in like relationships. If you have some recurring, I'm hearing recurring arguments, or recurring problems, recurring types of people you're meeting that you don't want to be meeting. This can be really like you're getting to the bottom of that, and you're like, how do I put this? How do I say this either to myself or someone else that this is not what I'm looking for, or this is just not my cup of tea anymore. I've outgrown this. The Two of Swords operates fantastically when you listen to your intuition. So in any cases of decision making, it can be that you hear too many voices. In some cases, it can be that, there are too many people talking. You have way too many opinions and now you don't know what to do, right? That's like the whole other end of the spectrum. So in that situation, listening to your intuition is very, very important, because that is going to be your final guide. And that goes for like the shared money and like money you owe to someone or someone else owes to you. You might be like, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to ask for my money back. Things like that. Okay. Listen to your intuition. Trust that you will get the money back, because the Six of Pentacles is here, and that too in the very near future, if not already in this month. Or in other words, you might get the necessary response you're looking for. But you might have to think about how the other person is thinking, or how the other person wants to hear a certain thing, right? The 8th house is about psychology as well. So you might be a little bit strategic, not in a negative way, a little bit strategic as to how you approach a certain problem. And using your cleverness, your self-mastery, you can do excellent over here, okay? You definitely have like a whole lot of skill sets coming through. 8th house also talks about like latent skills and abilities you have, or like underappreciated skills that you have. So when you express it, you're like, I'm impressed with myself. Like, I didn't know I could do this, but well done, pat on your back, and let's carry on. It's kind of that vibe with the mountains too. You're just very satisfied at the end of a climb. After dealing with a certain problem, you're like, all right, I got this. This is just the validation I needed from myself. You're proving things to yourself, and you're just trusting that you got this, basically. Okay? All right. Let's see, what else do we have for Virgos? Month of April, please. Mars, the 6th house, and Libra. All right, so 6th house is your house. You might be like working out more or paying more attention to just your lifestyle in general, what you are entertaining in your life, the types of connections you communicate with in your colleague and coworker situation. Also, like let's say you go to the gym, you might be considering like moving gyms, for example, or you want to do it just with your friends and booking a separate compartment if that's possible for you. Or you might be meeting some people over some shared activities and you're very excited about that. So new connections and communication could be happening here. Apart from that, you're very inspired and feeling very capable with work, with just the occupation you have or whatever it is you do every day. If you're meditating, you want to be serious about that. If you're working out, you're serious about that. It's like you're really driven and motivated to do something here. Now, Mars in Libra is not really its favorite position, but it's excellent when it comes to charm and also diplomacy, which Libra stands for. And Mars is, again, very passionate about anything that it touches, really. So you might be, let's say you have some sort of like competitive workmate, let's say the devil is that, and they just keep on chattering or keep giving like unnecessary, unwanted opinions. This is, with the Two of Swords, you might be like, how do I put this where, you don't feel like annoyed at me? I don't want to cause like a bad impression, things like that. I don't want to come off really difficult or anything, but you gotta shut up, So this Mars in Libra here can talk about taking on or adopting a very different but like a different approach to solving something that is ongoing and most likely relationship based. Now, Libras can also talk about the documentation and the legal procedures. So like I said earlier, repeating again, read the fine print, and once more, read the fine print. Because the sixth house can talk about, it can be a burden on like a regular basis if you're not paying attention. Okay, we don't want that for you. We don't want that. So yes, okay, read that. All right, one more time. Let's go for Virgos. 11th house, Sagittarius and the South Node. Okay, you might be letting go of certain communities. Perhaps you're joining some new space where you feel more like they are your tribe, your type of people. There is also like a heightening of spiritual awareness. Perhaps you're discussing like bigger ideas, bigger goals, things like that. And in the process, you're letting go of some previous goals as well. You're very excited for the future here. But at the same time, you're not like holding on very tightly. There's not very that attachment and obsession type of vibe. I'm not getting that. Yeah, the releasing and letting go. Some of you might be thinking about like moving overseas. Three of Wands can talk about like potential travel. You might be paying for that, and perhaps it's like unclear as to when exactly it might happen. Perhaps you're waiting for some sort of confirmation from another party. But either way, there is like a potential travel plan, and it can be going back to a place where you have been before. The South Node can talk about like past lifetimes or past experiences. So yes, like meeting old friends, for example, that's also likely, especially around Mercury retrograde, so 21st onwards. It's more likely that you reconnect with friends that you have not stayed in touch very frequently. That's usually when I meet those people as well. Okay, so yes, that's what I have for you, Virgos. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out and also resonates. You let me know in the comments, and I will post more of the astrology content on my community page. If you're interested, you can subscribe and go to the tab. It will notify you whenever the post is up. And also your solar eclipse zodiac specific reading will also be up around the middle of April, sorry. And yes, so subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified for that too. If you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.